The dull hum of the office was a comforting rhythm for Charlie, a steadfast routine he rarely deviated from. As CEO of his company, he was accustomed to long hours, commanding the attention of the board and leading his team. Yet, no one could ever accuse him of being the most approachable man in the room. Sharp and decisive, Charlie thrived in the world of data, deadlines, and decisions, but he was also a bit of a mystery. People knew his favorite suits, his stern expressions, and his quick temper, but few could say they knew him. This Tuesday morning felt routine, yet something strange tickled his senses. Marla, his secretary, had made his usual coffee, but there was a new fragrance lingering in the air, a strange warmth that reminded him of softer things. The faint scent of vanilla, a hint of sandalwood, and an odd sweetness. It wasn't his usual coffee, but Marla had been experimenting with new blends lately, and he liked her initiative. He took a long sip, savoring the unfamiliar yet soothing flavors, and felt a strange calm settle over him. Within minutes, Charlie's mind began to feel unusually light. He couldn't quite place the sensation, but it was oddly pleasant. His shoulders, always so tense, seemed to relax on their own, and he couldn't help but smile, a rare expression for him. Marla passed by his office with a curious glance, noticing his uncharacteristic expression. "You okay, Mr. Shaw?" she asked, a bit perplexed. Yes, I'm fine. Just interesting coffee today," he replied, waving her off with a faint laugh. She shrugged and continued on her way, while he drifted back into his thoughts, enjoying the blissful sensations spreading through him. As the morning wore on, though, the strange sensation only intensified. He found himself absent-mindedly smoothing his hands over his sleeves, feeling the fabric in a way he never had before. It seemed softer somehow, and he caught himself imagining how something silkier might feel against his skin. Dismissing it as a quirky thought, he turned his attention back to his screen, only to realize that typing felt different too. His fingers seemed thinner, more delicate, almost as if they weren't his own. Charlie shook his head, wondering if he was coming down with something. He couldn't concentrate on his reports. Instead, he felt this strange, compulsive urge to check his reflection in the glass panel beside his office door. Standing up, he crossed the room and glanced at himself, freezing in shock. His face looked different. The hard edges of his jawline had softened, his lips appeared fuller, and his cheeks had taken on a subtle, rosy hue. He blinked, leaned in closer, and gasped as he saw his eyelashes longer and more defined than they'd ever been. His heart raced, and he stumbled backward, knocking over a stack of papers. "Marla," he called out, his voice softer than usual. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Marla." She stepped in quickly, her eyes widening as she looked at him. "Mr. Shaw? Are you all right?" I'm not sure," he managed, clutching the edge of his desk for support. His voice had a strange, airy quality, as if it were a lighter version of itself. "Do I look different to you?" Marla tilted her head, her gaze softening as she seemed to consider his question. "Well, now that you mention it, sir, there is something. You seem softer." She bit her lip, unsure of how to describe it. Charlie felt his cheeks flush. "Something's wrong with me, Marla. I feel different." He paused, glancing at the coffee cup still sitting on his desk. "It's this coffee. Did you put anything in it?" "No, sir. I just used a new blend, one from that little shop downstairs," she said. "They call it Transformation Brew or something like that. Thought it might be fun to switch things up." Charlie sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Well, it's done something. Look at me." Marla tried to stifle a smile but failed. "I don't think it's all that bad," she offered, trying to sound reassuring. He felt something shift in his torso, a faint tugging sensation that spread through his chest. Looking down, he gasped as he saw his shirt tightening in unexpected places, new curves taking shape beneath the fabric. Panic surged through him, but he couldn't stop it. His shoulders narrowed, his hips widened, and soon his entire form had taken on a distinctly feminine shape. I don't believe this," he whispered, his voice barely audible. His once firm grip on control felt like it was slipping away. His suit, tailored to his previous masculine frame, now felt ill-fitting and restrictive, clinging in all the wrong places. Marla, unable to contain her curiosity, leaned forward, her eyes widening with astonishment. "Mr. Shaw, you look like a woman." Charlie's pulse raced. "This isn't happening," he muttered, running his hands over his new curves. The sensations felt too real to be a hallucination. His mind whirled as he looked to Marla for support. "You have to help me. I can't be seen like this." Marla nodded, a mischievous glint in her eye. "I think I know just the thing," she said, leading him to the adjoining lounge where spare clothes were often kept for emergencies. "Wait here." While Charlie fidgeted nervously, Marla returned with a blouse, skirt, and a pair of modest heels. "It might not be perfect," she said, "but it'll work better than your suit." Charlie's face reddened as he took in the outfit. "You want me to wear that? Well, do you have a better idea?" she countered, folding her arms. "We can't let anyone see you looking half-transformed like that." Realizing he had no other option, he swallowed his pride and awkwardly began changing, the blouse's smooth fabric sliding over his new curves in a way that sent a shiver down his spine. When he stepped into the skirt, he felt an odd combination of exposure and comfort, as if he were both unfamiliar and yet oddly at ease in this attire. Marla even helped him slip on the heels, giggling at his clumsiness as he wobbled unsteadily. "All right, we can't have you tripping all over the office," Marla teased, offering her arm. "I'll walk you through it." To his utter embarrassment, Charlie accepted her help, her gentle guidance making the unfamiliar heels a little more bearable. As they made their way back to his office, he was mortified to see a few coworkers casting curious glances in his direction, some offering friendly nods, others whispering behind their hands. He wanted nothing more than to disappear. Once safely behind closed doors, Charlie exhaled in relief. Marla was looking at him with a hint of admiration and amusement, her own surprise seemingly melting into appreciation. "You know, Mr. Shaw, or should I say Miss Shaw," she said with a grin, "you pull off that look quite well." He shot her a sharp look. "Don't get any ideas. This is temporary." But deep down, he wasn't so sure. The warmth, the strange comfort in his new form, was unsettling but also oddly appealing. He found himself adjusting the blouse, his fingers tracing its delicate fabric with an unfamiliar satisfaction. As the hours went on, Charlie tried to focus on work, but his transformation was all he could think about. The longer he stayed in this new form, the more he found himself naturally adapting to it. He became acutely aware of the smoothness of his movements, the softness of his voice, and the gentle sway of his hips as he walked. Even the office tasks that once felt tedious now seemed lighter, almost enjoyable. Marla continued to assist him throughout the day, her playful banter adding to his growing comfort. By the end of the day, Charlie found himself laughing and chatting with her in a way he never had before. He couldn't deny that this new perspective had opened something within him, allowing him to connect with Marla and even his work in a way he never had before. When the day finally ended, Charlie found himself reluctant to change back. Standing in front of his reflection, he realized he felt content. Perhaps this strange, magical coffee had done more than just change his appearance. It had given him a new understanding of himself, a softer, more open side that he hadn't known existed. "Marla," he called, as she was getting ready to leave. "Maybe we can keep this experiment going, just for a while longer." She smiled knowingly, nodding. "I think that's a great idea, Miss Shaw." Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.